Hey class, this is part 2 of dividing fractions. We're going to go ahead and move on to example number 2. I'm going to go ahead and erase this. Erasing example 1. Move on to example 2. Alright, example 2. Just going to write an example. We're going to have 5 over 4 divided by 1 over 4. Right? Remember, K, C, F. Keep 5 over 4, the same exact thing. Change division to multiplication. Flip 1 over 4 to be 4 over 1. Right? That's what we're going to do here. Now, remember, our canceling idea. Right? What is 4 divided by 4? 1, right? And so 4 divided by 4 will make this 1. What's left in our numerators? Just 5. What's left in our denominator? Just 1. 5 over 1 we know is just 5. So 5 over 4 divided by 1 over 4 is equal to 5. That's example 2. All right? Again, that was not that bad of an idea. We'll go ahead and move on to example 3. This is our final example for dividing fractions. Make sure you have that written down. All right, last example. We're going to have 25 and 1/2 divided by 5 and 1 over 4. All right, so if you notice, we have what type of numbers here and here? Mixed numbers, right? We got mixed numbers. So since we have mixed numbers, in order to divide these things, we want to turn them into improper fractions. How do we turn a mixed number into improper fractions? Texas method, right? Multiply the bottom, add the top, right? And we draw our T and our X, our T and our X, right? We call it Texas method because the plus looks like a T, X looks like a multiplication sign. Then we multiply first because of the order of operations. So 25 times 2, 50. 50 plus 1, 51 over original denominator, 2. And again, at this point right here, we still have the division symbol. We are not using keep, change, flip right now. We're using the Texas method. 5 times 4, 20. 20 plus 1 is 21 over the original denominator, which we know is 4. So now we have two improper fractions, which are just in the form of the fractions we need, right, in order to use keep, change, flip. Okay, so that's what we're going to use here. K, C, F. Remember, it's KCF, right? Not KFC, right? We're not talking about buckets of chicken, right? We're talking about dividing fractions. Okay, so we're going to keep, I'm going to write this equal sign so I can write it over here. 51 over 2, the exact same. 51 over 2. Division changes to multiplication. We're on C. And now we're going to F. F says flip or get the reciprocal of 21 over 4. 4 over 21. Okay? All right. Now, we know that 4 can be prime factorized, or prime factor 4, we can get 2 times 2. So that means when we write these and cancel these, we end up with a 2 right here. Right? We end up with a 2. 4 divided by 2, we get 2. This turns into a 1, right? Now, 21 is 7 times 3, right? 7 times 3. And I believe sometimes you got to look at these. 51 might be able to be divided by 3, so let's figure it out. 3 goes into 5 once. 5 minus 3, we get 2. Bring down our 1. 3 into 21, 7 times. 3 times 7 is 21. 21 minus 21 is 0. So actually 51, it's crazy, 51 is actually 3 times 17. So look, we want to go ahead and reduce this up front. So 51 is 3 times 17. 3 and 17 are both prime. Because again, if we did 17 times 3 to check this, 3 times 7, we get 21. Carry my 2. 1 times 3 plus 2, we get 5. 51. So 51 is actually 3 times 17. And then remember, we canceled the 4 and we got 2 times 2. And then 21 is actually 3 times 7. So we got rid of one of the 2's because of that 4, right? We left this is our 2 that's right here. So now, what's in the numerator that's also in the denominator? 3, right? 3 divided by 3, we get 1. So now, we can just multiply across, just like we done before. We need to do 17 times 2. 7 times 2, we get 14, carry my 1. 1 times 2, 2 plus 1, that's 3. So we end up with 34 over 7. Now, I know I may have lost some of you here, so I kind of want to go back over it real quick. So again, if you were kind of lost on this, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to leave 51 over 2. Let me erase this part. I'm going to go back real quick because I know some of you, I may have lost some of you there, and that's okay. Let's redo this one little part. So I'm going to keep change flip it, 51 over 2 times 4 over 21. And I want to use the idea that we did before. We're just going to prime factor everything we know that can be prime factor. So we figured out 51 is actually 17 times 3, right? So I'm going to rewrite. Remember, we would just multiply across, but we want to prime factor everything so we can cancel some things before we get to the end. So 51 is the same thing as 3 times 17. 4 is the same thing as 2 times 2. So the top, 51 times 4, actually turned into 3 times 17 times 2 times 2. That's the numerators. Now, 2 is prime, so I'm just going to bring it over here, times 21. 21 we know is 3 times 7. Now, at this point, we prime factored everything that we could, right? We prime factored everything that we could. And so we need to figure out, okay, what's in the numerator that's also in the denominator? 3, right? 3 divided by 3 is 1. So we don't got to worry about him anymore. 2 divided by 2 is also 1. We don't have to worry about him anymore. Now, is there anything else that's in the numerator that's also in the denominator? No, right? There's not. So now we got to multiply everything in the numerator that's left. 17 times 2, which we did a minute ago. 7 times 2 is 14. Carry my 1. 1 times 2 is 2 plus 1, that's 34. We end up with 34 over what's left in the denominator, 7. Now we have an improper fraction, right? We have an improper fraction, and we want to go ahead and turn this improper fraction into a mixed number. 3 is getting rained on. Where does it want to? I'm sorry, 34 is getting rained on. Where does it want to go? Inside. 7 on the out. 7 into 34. 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 5, 35. That's too much. So 7 times 4, we get 28. 34 minus 28, we get 6. So we end up with 4 and 6 over 7. All right, so that's part 2. We're going to wrap up part 2 of dividing fractions. Thanks for watching, guys.